from their encounters with races from other planets. The information is the activation. Let's awaken this world together. We are the forever students, and we will not be silent. We are the ones that we've been waiting for pretty while. Welcome, everybody to Full Spectrum Universe. My name is Rob Yox. We are the embattled broadcast from behind enemy lines in the once great state of New York. Tonight, we're doing something a little bit different than we usually do. Tonight, we're not going to show any slides. We're not going to be doing any presentations. Tonight, we're going to go over predictions for the remainder of 2022 and 2023. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, Rob, I never heard that you were psychic or that you did these types of things. And I have this to say to you. This is not psychic or channeled information. What this is research. And what we do is we try and predict the tea leaves from what we see happening within that research, right? Research bodes to current events. Current events tells us about these plans that these powers that be put into place to essentially capitulate, enslave, and truly, hone in on the masses to try and give them some sort of, moral code to live by. So we're going to break all those paradigms tonight, right? We're not going to be doing the usual psychic, predictions for the next year or so. What I'm going to show you is, or describe to you, maybe not show you, but tell you is about what I see coming up is for the spiritual community, for the political community, also for the cultural community. We're going to break it down into segments, and we're going to give you a little bit of insight and why we're seeing that. And what we're going to do is we're going to see if these predictions come true. If they don't, so be it. But this is how we, go through all of what we're doing and trying to plan for the future and get ourselves prepared for what's coming next is by basically reading the tea leaves, right? So I wanted to start with the spiritual side of things because that's namely what we do here. We talk about spirituality, we talk about consciousness, we talk about hidden histories and how essentially we're building ourselves up to this re-evolution and this grand great awakening or this new great awakening. And when we do that, we look towards things like the New Earth movements and really trying to find standards and pathways to enhance ourselves, create our potential, and truly make us more than what we were even 5 years ago. So I've incorporated a couple things into what we're talking about. So one of the things that we always hear about is this great solar flash. I'm going to try and predict to you when that solar flash is going to happen. And I'm going to tell you what my thinking is when going along with this. Again, this is not your normal prediction show. And this is also pre-recorded because I wanted to make sure that my thoughts are generated properly. And of course, with working now and the scheduling, I'm going to start dropping a lot of smaller videos, whether they be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever the case, to kind of sprinkle in some content while we're at work. But we're also working to give you full episodes too. This is potentially a full episode. It may not go the full hour, probably won't. But I wanted to make sure that I went over a few things first. So first and foremost, the first thing that we see happening, like I said, is this great solar flash. When is the solar flash going to happen? So while doing research, I found that there's going to be 2 solar eclipses between 2023 and 2024. Now, to me, if I had to predict what is going to happen between that time, this is a real crazy period. And I'm going to tell you why. Because solar eclipses often align themselves with exciting new beginnings, a twist of fate, and the arrival of unexpected updates. A lunar eclipse, on the other hand, are more likely to bring sudden endings, conclusions, or powerful changes, right? So I'm sure within that time there's going to be a solar eclipse as well. I mean, a lunar eclipse as well. But this is sort of this new beginning for us, right? This new exciting time. And in the 2023 to 2024, between these 2 solar eclipses, I think is a solar flash. And what that's going to signify is this ability for people to get their potential lifted, the frequencies lifted. And there's a lot that goes into this time period as well that I'm going to kind of hone in on and focus on. because there's something else that's going to happen during this time. It's called the great forgiving of self. Now, to me, a lot of what we do within this community is we balance ourselves, which means looking at the shadow work, sort of being able to progress as a consciousness, but also as a physical, emotional, and energetic being, right? One of the things that we have to do ultimately is to forgive ourselves. So I think that as more people awaken, we're going to see this great movement of forgiveness for past actions of ourselves that we may be projecting onto others, or that were essentially holding us back to this true conclusive awakening, right? And we're all working on that. We're all working to get our stuff together. But I think that this is where a lot of the people become more able to move into this higher frequency by forgiving past transgressions. And this moves us to a place to truly receive the best that the universe has to give us. And I think by working into this area and really atoning for what we've done previous to, our great awakening process, or our passing our threshold and sort of getting ourselves to this point where we're doing the work to progress, we have to forgive ourselves. And I think that there's going to be a lot of that, because a lot of people still hold resentment. A lot of people still hold on to these ideologies that serve them no purpose, right? They serve them only harm and no help. And I think we're going to move past that. So another spiritual prediction that I think is going to happen, a lot of these are very general, but in the later episodes, we're going to examine each one of these areas a little bit more by giving you some of the conclusive reasonings why I feel that that's going to happen. Now, I'm going to, sprinkle in a little bit of that right now as well. But, moving into when we're trying to forgive ourselves, one of the things is that examination. I think one of the things that society is doing for us now is to really, really hone in on our actions, be present in the now, and truly examine what we can do to become better human beings and what we can do to better serve ourselves, the planet, and each other, right? And the galactics have also had a very big hand in giving us these perceptions that were so held on to by the seat of our pants because of the programs that were instilled upon us since birth. And they're giving us ways to kind of break that paradigm. So that's one of the biggest things that people are going to have to forgive themselves for, was actually residing within that 9 to 5 routine type of lifestyle and not giving themselves the benefit of the doubt to kind of create that new future for us, right? And for themselves, truly. And that is one of the resentments that people hold on to. Like, I wish I would have just known this stuff about 10 years ago. I really wish I would have known this stuff about 5 years ago. It really would have helped during this time, et cetera, whatever that is, right? So when we see that happening, we see that there is a tremendous, 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 tremendous ability to excel and raise our frequency. And as we keep moving forward, we're going to see that this letting go of the past is going to be a vital component in that. So, another distinction I wanted to make was, I'm going to start calling some of these people that we can't say by name because of YouTube censorship the Decepticons. They're deceitful, they're deception artists, and they're in the front line medias. They're in the front line of Hollywood. They are in the limelight. They are the Decepticons. Other people may have used that. Maybe I heard it somewhere. I'm not sure, but I think it's fitting. That all they're about is deception, moving you towards this society where they are the ruling class, the elite. They are the ones that are essentially in control of cultural and societal structure, right? One of the things I see happening between 2022 and 2023, which the remainder of 2022, is we always said that this was the year of the truth seeker. 2022 is the year of the truth seeker because so many of these great deceptions have been brought to light. But in no way, shape, or form are we even done yet. There are still so many to come out. And I truly believe that moving into this next year, from this point forward, a lot more of these Decepticons are going to be drawn to the front of the line and to be exposed at an even greater level. within the community of consciousness, especially, right? One of the things I wanted to focus on again with this was because a lot of what we see out there are people who are acting as service to others while behind the scenes they're of service to self and they know what they're doing. And when now that we're getting this awakening and it's on a mass scale, more and more people are coming to light. More and more people are coming to the forefront. So we have to create this discernment of the information that's being told, of the people that is saying it. And here's kind of this line that I want to draw. And this is kind of be a theme throughout the entire episode, kind of, right? There's two different types of people when it comes to you know, the bad side of things, shall we say, right? There is the people who are under compartmentalization, who are doing what they believe is for the greater good because they were told it was for the greater good. And then there's those people who know the agenda, and the fact that they know that agenda are going forward with it no matter the cost. There's two different types of people there. And the distinction I want to make is the people who are compartmentalized and believe that they are doing what is best for humanity because, of course, they were told for that. And those are weak moments. We should not fault those people. Those people deserve a chance at redemption once finding out the actual truth. Those people should have the ability to atone for their actions. Nobody's perfect, and we can't hold them in this bubble of their capitulation to the side of things that isn't so great, or the service to self side of things, when they truly thought that they were doing, what was best. So they are offered redemption. And actually, we should be saving those people and bringing those people, especially the information, because that will turn the tide in what we're doing. Regardless, we've already won. We're going to get to the political mayhem in a couple minutes about what is actually happening behind the scenes and how we have to stay vigilant to make sure that there isn't collateral damage because they know that they've lost, right? So, this is one of the things that we have to do. That's why there is a person who is fooled into thinking they're doing the right thing, and then there's a Decepticon. A Decepticon is a person who knows exactly what they're doing, doesn't care, only is worried about the money and their agenda, whether it be the satanic or Luciferian agenda or just an agenda of their own. They don't care who they step on. You know, those are the people that have to face the full arm of law and justice and truly be put in a place where they can no longer hurt others like that. They will have to atone, but there is no forgiveness with them, right? So I wanted to make that clear as well. And I think that these Decepticons are going to be very, very prominent people. And I think that there's going to be an even greater level of really rooting out this negative fundamental behavior, right? And this means that humanity is ultimately moving in the right directions. And one of the things I see happening is that politicians and Hollywood are going to be the first line of people who are exposed even more so now. And there's a lot on both sides of the aisle that are going to be exposed for their capitulation into corruption and these negative agendas, these service to self agendas. And I think that we're going to see a lot of that in 2023, towards the middle of 2023. Right? We see that there's things coming up where positions are going to change hands and all that kind of stuff. That is relative, right? We have to take the people that are putting the actual people themselves first and support those people to move into this new direction, right? Even at a governmental level. And a lot of people say, break it all down, burn it all down. Personally, I don't believe in that. I believe in building it back up just better while alleviating some of the really, really cancerous parts of it, right? There's a structure in place. We have to use that structure and work within that structure to do things the lawful and abide by the law while doing it, right? So there's another portion I wanted to talk about is the connections, right? Connections in the spiritual community are going to absolutely enhanced, so we know that. But the connections to the star families is going to be one of the more prominent and visible areas that we see coming to the forefront. Now that people are waking up and it's becoming an exponential increase of people who are truly finding who they are, a lot of what I hear right now in the comment section is people keep saying that they feel like they don't know who their star family is. They're working towards figuring it out, but they don't really know who it is. I believe that that's going to become more visible to you in this next year. There's going to be a lot of things that happen where we'll get into the specifics in another episode, but there's going to be a lot of areas where it's going to be announced to you that your information, and this comes with the solar flash too, because it's going to give you encrypted coding that's going to tell you exactly who your star family is. So it's all about accessing it and becoming aware of it. So as we're moving forward, also with the way that the galactics have been contacting and influencing the Earth as a whole, there's going to be more tells and more signs for you to actually figure out without beyond a shadow of a doubt what family you reside in or what star system your ancestry hails from. I believe that that's going to be a tremendous push in this awakening process because in this awakening process, it's not just oh, I'm awake now. There's levels. As you go up, you find out more and more, and it enhances your ability to put out information and truly get things out of speculation and into the light of truth, right? I feel that that's going to be a huge, huge factor in the months to come. So, this is also, that people are being drawn to these specific families. They just don't understand or have the awareness to fully know what's happening, right? And it's becoming hard for them to decipher am I a part of this family group? Am I a part of that family group? I resonate with both. It's going to become more streamlined, right? Because those, like I said, those light codes are going to unlock your origin story, right? And as it unlocks our origin story, it's going to unlock our greater potential and our powers and initiate some of our superpowers, which is going to give us the ability to see within timelines and telepathy, telekinesis, communication with the other side, things like that. I think it's going to be a huge uptick in that in the year to come because we're on this precipice now where they know that they've lost and we know that we've won, but there can't be any stagnation in that area, right? If we remain stagnant talking about the same things and not progress the message, there's a chance that they're going to try and vie for power again. While doing that, there's going to be a tremendous amount of collateral damage. There's going to be a tremendous amount of things that we don't want to see that are negative because they think that there's going to be an inkling for them to inch back in, when in fact there isn't. But that's not what they're going to believe. They're going to believe that by all means necessary, they're going to try and do really horrible things to make people capitulate to their wills. Their mission is to vie for power. And once that power is taken away from them, like it's being done now, they're going to grasp at straws to get it again, right? So another aspect of what I wanted to talk about was the galactics themselves, right? I truly believe that the galactics are going to make their presence known on this planet on a global scale. Now, we know that there are a lot of people in contact with these galactics, right? There's tremendous amount of galactical ambassadors. That's going to increase, right? But there's also going to be a point in time within the next year where these galactics make their presence known in a way that can't be refuted. That I see happening because it's coming to that tipping point where, especially where we are right now with the political landscape and the geopolitical landscape, it's getting very, very dangerous. But we have to know that those dangers are only presented and aren't truly coherent dangers. They'll never let that stuff happen, right? So then there's nothing to fear. And this is part of that cabal's reach for that last straw, that last vestige of power, right? We know that the Orions had an AI that was essentially controlling a lot of what's happening on the Earth with the Cabal and things like that. That's their main system of communication. Now that that's been cut off, what's left is the Cabal or Archons are left on the planet feeding off of what fear there is to be had. And they will satiate themselves until there is none left, and then they will wither away and be gone. And that's that move into New Earth. But we can't fuel them while they're in their death throes, right? We can't do that. So we have to understand that all this talk about imminent danger and imminent explosions and mass scale damage and people dying is off the table. It's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen at all. Also, I wanted to make this is going to be the last 2 points that I wanted to make. We know that there is a great split happening during the winter solstice. We've been talking about it for 3 years, right? This split doesn't have a specific, I guess, parameter in which it's going to encapsulate all of humanity. We know that it's supposed to be the higher frequency people go one way and the lower frequency people go another way. What if this great split is a little bit different, right? And this is what I'm feeling. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying that I've taken this from everybody. What if, because the Cabal knows that it's lost, this great split is the rooting out of all that evil? And they're either taken off planet to go do whatever they're going to do with their universal backers, right? Or the people that back them, the factions that back them. What if there is this rooting out in such a way that the great split means that we're splitting from that negative service to self style energy and moving to the service to others, but on a global scale as a whole? What if that's the case? And I think that during that solstice, we're going to see the beginnings of that. I think there's going to be a moment where the bad or the people that are service to self are going to be transfixated on something and moved away from the common peoples of society. They're not going to be a part of it anymore. They're going to go their own way, whether that means a breakaway civilization somewhere where they use their smart cities to harvest negative energies to, fuel those people to come back at a later date. I'm not sure, but that is my prediction. That is, there's going to be a tremendous separation. Now, the Hopi talked about that, but they talked about it in the way of metaphysics, right? Of taking it to two different planes of existence. And that may very well happen. I'm not saying that that's not the case, but when I get this great split, that's what I see. I see this area. I see this area where it really is this paradigm of these people are not going to be there in the way that they're there now. And that is the split. We're splitting from that corruption. We're splitting from that negative, and we're choosing not to go back or not to at least involve ourselves in that, right? Another point of interest is you have to know that the universe has your back, right? Now, when I say universe, this could be your creator, this could be the universe as a whole. This is karma, right? We talk about karmatic debts. When you put out service to others, you get service to others back in a way of abundance and love. And if we reside within that love, the universe has your back. That's it. End of story. You will not fall by the wayside. You will not be left behind if the universe has your back. Therefore, we have to be cognizant of our actions. We have to be cognizant of what we do. We have to be cognizant of how we treat people. This is all the aspects in which we truly have to get things to motivate ourselves to stay within the areas we are in now. This community is a beautiful thing. It's become something more than we could ever imagine, and it's still progressing. And I think that that is one of the reasons why we dedicate ourselves to this, not in so much that the universe has our back, but because it means a lot to us that the people are well equipped to deal with everything and anything that they have coming in front of them. So, this is a truly magical moment. It's such a great time to be alive. So now I wanted to move into the political side of things. And I see one really, really big first prediction. And it's we're going to see the beginnings of the transformation from the United States corporation that will be dissolved, and the nation of the United States will be returned. And when I mean returned, it will be returned to the people, us as the people. I see that there's major plays in people that are trying to basically absolve this system of the corporate stages and narratives and contracts, which is super important in a lot of different areas. One of which is disclosure, right? This is going to open up the paper trails of research to contact SSP and special access programs. We're going to see the entirety of what this corporation has done to its people since 1871. So that's a major, major, major prediction. That's a big one. Now, again, we can come back and reevaluate these predictions. Did they come true? Did they not? This is what I'm seeing. Was my timing off? I'm also seeing that a once ally or a recent ally of the United States is essentially going to look at us as an adversary because of the corrupt politicians that are in power now and their attack on the Nord Stream pipelines. Germany is going to be very, very upset with the United States in the days to come. Now, I'm not saying that the United States did it as a country, but there are agents at play that the United States is either directly involved with or they know of those parties and did nothing to stop them, right? So I believe that that is going to be a tremendous, tremendous uh, sour point walking into 2023. And again, just because the cabal has lost doesn't mean our fight's over. We must remain vigilant because, of course, they still want to cause, like I said, that collateral damage. And they feel that there are threads for them to take back control and try. And they may even try to switch sides and infiltrate our sides to lay dormant until they feel a resurgence that they can take things back. So we have to remain vigilant. We have to stay on top of things, right? Now, another thing within 2023 that we're going to see is, you know, I think that there's going to be a lot more legislation and transparency in legislation. I think that we're going to start seeing a lot of the terminations of policies the of the last few years. Essentially, these policies were hurting people. And now we're going to see legislation that ultimately helps people. And that once we do this, I feel that the country as a whole is going to become less divisive and more engaging in creating harmony. I think that this is going to be a tremendous step forward in creating unity. Now, I don't know which side of the aisle is going to propose this legislation, but I'm just saying that I think that there's going to be legislative actions to essentially empower the people to be more directly connected to each other, which is going to create this amazing harmony, right? Now, again, this is all just laying the seeds. This isn't the end game by doing that. So, and there's one more really big prediction I have. And maybe in the next, we're only going to keep this for around a half hour. So maybe in the next one, we'll do more of a societal and cultural predictions on what's going to happen. But the last one is, I really think that this assault on logic is going to be terminated. We're going to have people in the places that they need to be to essentially restore logic and the ability to think clearly and not be propagandized and radicalized by these ideologies. I think there's going to be a lot more middle ground where people are going to resonate with. And within that middle ground, we're going to be able to actually have productive conversations. It's not just going to be small communities like we have here or in other places. It's going to be everywhere. There's going to be this assault on logic. It's going to go away. So these are a few things that I see coming down the pipeline. Now, in another episode, after we do another, we're going to do the races from the stars next. But after that, we're going to come back to this and we're going to talk a little bit more about how we can, exercise all of this information and use it to try and map out where it's going to go next. And I'm going to tell you where a lot of this came from and why I'm thinking these things. We're going to get a little bit deeper into what we talked about today. Now, these prediction episodes, we're going to do a few of them because I really feel like there's more to add on. But I don't want to keep it too much because I want to try and reach as many people as possible with this. So we're only going to do about a half hour, but I hope this finds you in love and abundance. And I really love what we've created here, and I really hope that we keep creating like this. And I really hope that we kind of move ourselves towards this new earth, which we are doing. But I would love to excel that so we can root ourselves of this negative energy and truly be a prosperous planet, not just a community, but a planet, right? So, with that being said, my name is Rob Yox. I want to thank everybody for watching this. And yeah, I found my hat again. The hat's back, baby. So, I love you all. I'll see you all soon. We are the ones that we've been waiting for, and the information is the activation. Thank you.